New report. A deal has been reached on financial markets bailout. Congressional leaders have released final legislation to create a $700 billion bailout of the financial markets. That's nice. The House plans a vote on the rescue bill Monday, and the Senate, supposedly, is expected to follow later this week. The rescue is the largest government intervention in financial markets ever, or at least since the Great Depression. It would let the government take over huge amounts, tremendous amounts of devalued assets from troubled financial companies in hopes, yes, that's right, hopes of unlocking frozen credit. In other words, everybody's got to pay for the greedy actions of a few. Or, in other words, why do we have to pay for pure, unadulterated greed? The plan was posted to the House of Representatives Financial Services website at financialservices.house.gov. This plan would give the administration broad power to use taxpayers' money to purchase billions upon billions of bad loans. That's nice. Flexing its political muscle, Congress insisted on a stronger hand, theoretically, in controlling the money than the White House had originally wanted. Lawmakers had to navigate between angry voters with little regard for Wall Street and administration officials who have warned and threatened that inaction would cause the economy to seize up and spiral into recession, if not into a depression, although it could still happen anyway. And if you start printing more money, well, according to the classical economic models, if anybody remembers what that means, then inflation increases. Everything's going to cost more, isn't it? And will this really save America or save the economy? No, because this whole thing is bigger than all that. When you're spending or putting out at least $300 million a day for the supposed war on terror, day after day after day, that adds up to a lot of money. Perhaps that has something to do with the economy, doesn't it? And where does all that money go? Where is it gone? Like been flushed down the toilet or into a black hole. Yes, at $300 million a day. That might have something to do with the economy. I know they don't mention it very much though, do they? Nonetheless, the bailout, the largest government intervention in financial markets since the Great Depression, casts Washington's long shadow over Wall Street. The government could theoretically take over huge amounts of devalued assets from troubled financial companies, and here we go again, in more hopes of unlocking frozen credit. I don't know of anyone here who wants the center of the economic universe to be Washington, said a top negotiator, Senator Chris Dodd, chairman of the Senate Banking, House and Urban Affairs Committee. But he added, the center of gravity is here temporarily. God forbid it's here any longer and it takes to get credit moving again. Well, they're getting close. getting closer. He just kind of said it, didn't he? Anyway, it is only a temporary band-aid. A band-aid fix. When you really need a tourniquet. Anyway, the plan would let Congress block half the money and force the president to jump through some hoops before using it all. That's funny. The government could get at $250 billion immediately, $100 billion more if the president supposedly certified it was necessary, whatever that means. And the last $350 billion with a separate certification and subject to a congressional resolution of disapproval. This is kind of confusing some kind of way. Still, the resolution could be vetoed by the president. That's nice. Meaning it would take extra large congressional majorities to stop it. Lawmakers who struck a post-midnight deal on the plan with Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson predicted it would come to a House vote on Monday. Congressional observers noted if the House voted then, due to some holiday and need for a debate in the Senate, a Wednesday vote was likely earliest in the upper house. The proposal is theoretically, here we go again, designed to end a vicious downward spiral that has battered all levels of the economy. Do they really think this is going to fix everything? Is this really going to do it? No, it's just another band-aid. Hundreds of billions of dollars in investments based on mortgages have soured and cramped banks' willingness to lend. Whose fault is that? The American taxpayers? This is the bottom line. They say, if we do not do this, the trauma, the chaos, and the disruption to everyday Americans' lives will be so overwhelming. And that's a price we can't afford to risk paying, said Senator Judd Gregg, the chief Senate Republican in the talks. I do think we'll be able to pass it, and it will be a bipartisan vote. A breakthrough came when Democrats agreed to incorporate a GOP demand, letting the government insure some bad home loans rather than buy them. Again, theoretically, that would limit the amount of federal money used in the rescue, but not necessarily. This is something that all of us will have to just swallow hard and go forward with. And it looks like we will pass the plan very soon. As late as Sunday afternoon, though, Republicans regarded the deal as a proposal that is promising in principle, but is still not quite final. This doesn't sound good. I don't really see how it's going to fix the economy, other than perhaps in the short term, a temporary fix, right? The government's biggest economic bailout since the Great Depression is theoretically aimed not at relieving unemployment or reforming questionable business practices, but at reviving financial markets torn apart by lousy bets on the housing market. Pure greed, that's all it is. It's supposed to fix the greediness of a few people who made a lot of money. I guess everybody else has got to suffer for their actions, if that makes any sense. Put simply, theoretically, the hastily crafted plan lawmakers agreed to in principle on Sunday is intended to revive jittery and fragile banks in Wall Street and Main Street with enough money by using taxpayer funds to purchase billions upon billions of their worst mortgage-related assets. That's nice. Anyway, these are more signs of the end times transition days, and there are many, many signs.